Appeals meeting. Kathy, could you take roll call, please?
Mr. Abathera?
Here.
Ms. Brooks? Mr. DeZerman? Mr. Friesen?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Quorum present.
Next one will be the resolution to allow public to address electronics meetings. Kathy, could you read that in, please? Or do I vote on it first?
I'm sorry.
Do we vote on that?
Yes, after I read it, then we'll ask somebody to move it and support.
Okay.
Okay. Resolved that the Troy Building Code Board of Appeals hereby allows all members of the public to address an electronic meeting in the following three ways. One, public comments may be submitted via email sent to bcbapubliccomments@troymi.gov. Emails received by 9 a.m. on the day of the meeting will be read during the public comment period of the meeting. Email comments may be limited to 3 minutes. 2, public comments may be submitted via voicemail left at 248-524-3546. Voicemails received by 9 a.m. on the day of the meeting will be played during the public comment period of the meeting. Voicemail comments may be limited to 3 minutes. 3, members of the public may attend the electronic meeting remotely and participate in a public comment period. Comments may be limited to 3 minutes.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're
Do we have a motion for that?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. Kathy, take the vote, please.
Okay. Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next one will be the approval of the minutes of the June 2nd, 2021 meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
Kathy?
Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And our first case will be the variance request for Sasi Gowanawa at 1682 Burr Oak Drive. Salim?
Yes. Various requests, Sassy Gunari, 1682 Burr Oak Drive. This property is an interior lot of the R1C zoning district per the City of Troy Code, Chapter 83, Fences, Section 2, Fence Construction in Residential Areas. Item A, it indicates that in a residential area, no fence shall be constructed to a height of more than 6 feet above the existing grade of the land. The petitioner is requesting a variance to install 280 feet of vinyl privacy fence at a height of 7 feet in the backyard, where the city code limits the height to 6 feet, Chapter 83.
I'm going to request that we postpone this one to next month because I have to recluse myself from this one and there won't be enough for a quorum.
I move to postpone. Second.
Kathy?
It was support by Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And our second is a variance request from Rajesh Kumar Verakalala at 5369 Greendale Drive. Salim, could you tell me about that?
Sure. This property is a double front corner lot per the City of Troy zoning ordinance. It is in the R1C use district. As such, per Chapter 83 of the City of Troy Code, it has 30 feet required front setback along both Greendale Drive and Orchard Crest Drive. The petitioner is requesting a variance for an existing fence that has 4 feet in height, 124 feet obscuring, which is 66 feet, 30/70 of transparency or non-obscuring vinyl fence. That is 1 foot from the sidewalk along the Orchard Crest Drive side where the city code limits to 30 inches height obscuring fences due to the fact that there isn't a back-to-back relationship to the rear neighboring lot. The total length of the fence requested by the petitioner to be permitted by the building department is 190 feet, which 69 feet of the fence do not require a variance, Chapter 83.
Okay. And we have any questions for this on with Salim until I ask the petitioner to come up? Salim,
Yes,
on your picture, this is already installed?
correct. Yes.
All right. And we did one further down next door on Orchard Crest already?
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
We did one on Orchard Crest already next door?
Yes, correct. Where the swimming pool is, it was our case, previous case. And so that's when we found out that this one was not with the proper permit.
Do we have permits? How long was that installed? How long ago?
The person bought the house with it, so I have no idea because they didn't obtain a permit.
Okay, no permits from,
No permit at all.
Question?
no questions? Is the petitioner present? Would you like to come up and state why you need the variance?
Thank you.
Just tell us why you need the variance?
As Salim said, I bought it with the fence installed, assuming it was all with the permits and everything. But later on, last year, found that it was not permit. There was no permit for it, so I'm trying to correct the mistake that was done previously. And right now, it's already installed, and it's been there for, at least I purchased it 5 years ago. So with kids in the house, and it's on the corner lot, that's where I'm requesting a variance, so that I don't need to dismantle everything.
All right, so you bought the house 5 years ago and the fence was already installed?
Yes.
And it needs to be non-obscuring, and it was
Yes.
obscured?
It was obscured, but I took it off and put an obscuring one, which is 70-30%.
Okay. So it's supposed to be 50/50?
It's supposed to be 50/50. It's like a 30,
Okay,
roughly.
okay. Go ahead, Sam.
I apologize, I missed the last part. You did replace part of it with the 70, it was obscuring and now you
It
made
was
it?
obscuring, and I read chapter 83, and I went through all the website. I said, okay, let me put it the non-obscuring. So we took out one part of it and reinstalled it, everything.
So if it was 50/50, we wouldn't be here right now?
No, it's
it's
what happens, it does not have a back-to-back relationship. And this lot is very unique. It also has a variance from 1978 because the house is already on the setback.
Okay,
It's encroaching in the setback. Let me put the house, I don't know if you can see it from that point. The green line is the setback, and so this corner of the house is already encroaching, but it has a variance from 1978.
And a conforming fence there, besides the 50/50, would 4 feet still be okay, or is it supposed to be shorter?
No, because it's not okay because it's not a back-to-back
So it would have been
relationship.
the 30?
It has to be 30 inches, yes.
so if we were to make him go back to 30 feet, he'd be further back than his house is set back?
Yeah, and
because he
the
got
reason why I
variance.
mentioned the variance, because his lot is really irregular. So going back to 30, you can see the line there.
Yep.
It's very close to the
Was there
backyard.
anything in the variance in 78 that included a fence too, do you think?
It doesn't say that, it's right here.
Okay,
I put a copy of it.
all right. Mark, do you have any comment?
Yeah, I actually do have a question for Salim. So this fence will literally be a continuation of another variance that we granted?
Correct.
I mean, it will visually look like...
Visually, yes. In fact, I have pictures here. Let me go down to the pictures. This is the fence, and you can see the other fence, how it connects at that point.
You got my thoughts?
Okay,
And if I,
go ahead.
if I recall correctly, when we discussed this one, the adjacent one, that was originally requesting like a 6-foot obscuring vinyl fence, and this was the resolution was a 4-foot
Right.
non-obscuring.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember we said to make it look like the neighbors.
Right, because that one already
That was
exists.
already existing, yes. And now we're here with the neighbors saying we want to take it down.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't know until I got the letter. So.
If it was the same color, it would look like it was the same fence.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes.
So I called the previous guys, and I called my realtor, the guy who's told me it's all lessons learned for all of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's, so that fence has been there 5+ years, maybe 10 years or more. And we have any more questions for the petitioner?
I don't. Actually, take that back again. I have one more question for Salim. So the 70/30 versus 50/50, I understand it. And then the piece adjacent to the driveway is still obscuring.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, part of it is obscuring, you're right.
The-
Let me see if I got a picture of
Yeah,
that.
right.
Nope, I don't have a picture of that, I thought I did. So, yeah, there's a small section that, so the non-obscuring right now, it's only on the front. The sides do not have an open slot.
And that setback is where the driveway is where that previous variance
Yeah,
was
in fact, let me
granted.
put the floor plan so you can see that. Here you go. So right here,
Yeah, right.
you see this area that I put across black line? That's the one that has open slots, and the other ones don't. So this area where it touches the house, where it returns to the house, does not have an open slot.
If I may, yeah, that's very close to the house. It's not pointing towards the corner or anything, so that's why we didn't.
I think we have a public comment on that. Sandy, do you want to read it in?
We do. This is Greendale, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Dear City of Troy Building Code Board of Appeals, this public comment is regarding a variance request by the current owner of 5369 Greendale Drive for an existing fence that is 4 feet high, 124 feet, obscuring vinyl fence that is 1 foot from the sidewalk, running along Orchard Crest Drive. We are neighbors directly behind the property owned by Mr. Varacalla. We have no problem with the existing fence of the 5369 Greendale property. It is only 4 feet high. It does not cause any vision obstacles or hindrances for drivers or pedestrians. Rather, we believe that the fence is aesthetically pleasing to our neighborhood. It is well kept and maintains the bright, clean feel of our neighborhood. It appears from this public notice that the current owner, Mr. Varacalla, is being required to request a variance for an existing fence that the previous owners of the property never properly requested. While this may have been an error of the previous owners, Mr. Varacalla is not at fault. It would not be fair to punish Mr. Varacalla, particularly for a fence that does not harm our neighborhood. It is our understanding that one of the purposes of the City of Troy Building Code is to provide guidelines to maintain properties and neighborhoods. The current existing fence on Mr. Varacalla's property effectuates this purpose by providing a clean front, while its low height still allows for greenery and park-like feel of our neighborhood because pedestrians can see over it. Therefore, we respectfully and strongly request that the board grant Mr. Varacalla's request for a variance that would allow him to keep his current existing fence. Thank you for your time and consideration. Eric and Katina Gorman, 5350 Westmoreland Drive, Troy, Michigan, 48085.
Thank you.
That's the only one we have, I think.
I believe so.
All right. Does anybody want to put anything together?
I can do it. Get back to the template here. I move to approve the request, the variance as requested, due to the exceptional characteristics of the property, as well as not harmful or alter the essential character of the area and the intent of the code.
I'll second that. Kathy, could you take the vote, please?
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Mr. Freisen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Variance is all set.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Next case will be a variance request for Chris Mazur at 2683 Dayton Drive. Salim?
This property is a double front corner lot per the City of Troy zoning ordinance. It is in the R1C use district. As such, per Chapter 83 of the City of Troy Code, it has 30 feet required front setback along both Dayton Drive north-south and Dayton Drive east-west. The petitioner is requesting a variance to install a 6 feet high, 89 feet long obscuring wood fence, 15 feet from the property line along the Dayton Drive north-south side, where city code limits to 30 inches obscuring high fences due to the fact that there isn't a back-to-back relationship to the neighboring lot.
Okay. Any questions for Salim on this one?
No.
Mark, no?
Not right this moment.
Salim, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Can you pull up the size of the lots in it, on the GIS? Their size of their lot and the lot next door?
Let me get there.
That was under.
That was crazy. It fell down at my house
Mark just lost a tree at his house.
just minutes ago. Yeah.
It's just loading.
It's low? All right. Well, while we're waiting on that, I'll ask the petitioner to come up as a petitioner here.
Yes.
Could you tell us why you need the,
So we did put a play structure in our yard. We try to keep it on the opposite side of the fence. Neighboring kids and kids in the neighborhood kind of thought it was like a local playground. So we did move it onto the inside of our fence where it could, we're trying to make it fit. But due to the neighboring trees that border the line with the neighbor, the trees actually go through the play structure and we can't have it. Another reason why we had to move it on the inside is because we have a morally questionable person in our neighborhood. He has approached several of the other kids in the neighborhood with intent to sell drugs as well as other stuff, as well as earlier this year, he was found intoxicated, passed out in our front yard and side yard. So we're really just asking to pull this out so we can keep our kids safe in our yard.
okay? So right now you have a 6-foot fence
Yes.
that's in there, and you just want to pull it 15 feet closer to the sidewalk.
So it'd be 16 feet closer to the sidewalk,
Okay,
15 feet away from the sidewalk.
okay.
And that existing fence is
Compliant.
compliant?
Salim,
Yep, I'm sorry, I was,
it looks like it is.
The 6-foot fence at the 30-foot is compliant, right? There's no issue with the existing
Yeah.
fence?
I did build the existing fence and it was approved.
Okay. All right. All right,
I think Salim's got your measurements coming closer.
Mark, well, Wayne, do you have any questions for the petitioner?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
so it is 120 feet,
100?
145, and then it curves at the corner.
What about, how wide is the neighbors next door, 2667?
Which one?
2667?
The
It's the back of it.
east-west dimension, yeah.
The front?
No, the back.
Back?
Same.
About 90 feet, let me see.
How much is it?
90 feet.
90?
Yep.
Okay.
Doing public comment before or after?
Yeah, we can do public comment right now. We have some public comment to read in here?
Yeah. I believe there's 2.
Okay.
Good morning. Relative to the variance requested by owner Chris Mazura of location 2683 Dayton Drive, Troy, Michigan 48085, Chapter 83, and relative to 6-foot high fence being moved closer to the property line along north-south Dayton Drive, please be advised. Bullet point 1, this would be an eyesore. Bullet point 2, would be harder to see car traffic approaching the 90-degree turn from east-west Dayton Drive to north-south Dayton Drive or vice versa. Thank you and best regards, Mr. James R. Gasparovich, 5102 Dayton Drive, Troy, Michigan, 48085, 248-879-8938, jrgaspo@aol.com. And the second one, yeah, same, okay. Hi, I'm the owner of 5072 Blair Drive, Troy, Michigan 48085. I disagree because of the view of the neighborhood. Thanks. There's no signature at the bottom, but the email's from Sagda Mobin.
Okay. I don't understand what he means by the view of the neighborhood.
Don't speculate.
Okay. All right.
So I guess my concern or question with this, sorry, Gary, is all right?
Go ahead.
My concern or question is, I, looked through this neighborhood. I didn't see anything that stuck out, approached the street the way you're requesting. I think the existing fence meets the intent of the code. I think that is reasonable. I'm not generally in favor of pushing this out further, just based on the visual of the neighborhood, the amount of space that's available there. I would even contend, if you're concerned about neighbors bringing your children closer to the street, albeit enclosed, is closer to a potential hazard than farther away. So I, in general, don't see the need to push it forward beyond the intent of the code right now.
Well, there is several other properties in the neighborhood that already have it. Theirs are like within 1 foot of the sidewalk.
Do you know where?
5188, oh, that's trees, hold on. 2681 Coral Drive.
Your backups here?
Yeah, we do.
Sorry, I apologize. What was the address again?
2681 Coral Drive.
Can you repeat the street name again, sir? I'm sorry.
Coral, C-O-R-A-L.
Thank you.
And then I was told 5799 Pilot has it as well. And then there's 2 other ones that are on corner lots that have planted trees there, and which is how they get around the code, I guess. And now the trees are blocking the sidewalk and creating an issue like that.
Right, so I don't know the history. I don't see anything on this 2681 Coral. And to your point, we've had this conversation before on others, is the trees are allowed, and it's really not a question of our approval or disapproval of it. It's allowed by right, so that's understandably what people do, the row of arborvitaes with a non-obscuring fence. I don't see on this one, at least just quick on Google Maps, unless it's been installed in the last little bit. I don't see the fence you're talking about on 2681 Coral. Another one?
What was the other one, Jackie? What was the other address you said?
5799 Pilot.
Doesn't even seem to give me a house. $5700 maybe? All right, so that does look to be about a 3-foot fence, or certainly not. What are you looking for? 6 foot?
Yeah, 6 foot.
Yeah, it's, I don't know the history on this one, but it's obviously much shorter fence. It's, appears to be 3 foot high, maybe.
I know for sure the Coral one is 6 foot.
What we look at a lot in the development part of the subdivision is your corner lots are always made wider to accommodate coming in at distance on off the sidewalk for a fence being on a considered double frontage lot. That's why your lot's 100 feet, the neighbors are only 90, and the interior lots are probably only 70. So that you still have the same width of a backyard as all your neighbors do. If you go up, when they lay out a subdivision, corner lots are always wider to accommodate the double front that you have. If you look at like your neighbor to the 5071, is that? His lot's probably
71?
Is that right next to him? Yeah.
Yeah.
That lot's probably 70 feet wide.
But then the
76 feet,
76.
76.
76? Yeah.
Versus 145.
Yeah, compared to 100 that yours is. So you, basically everybody has the same size backyard. Same width. I realize your lot your backyard's 100 foot wide, but being a double front end, it's really 70 of usable space.
It's 145.
No, the survey here says 100. I think it was 145 around the curve.
Gotcha.
Do you understand what I was saying?
Yeah, you're saying it's width-wise, it's pretty much the same as the other ones?
Yes.
Just not depth-wise?
Yes, exactly. Anyone else have any more questions for the?
No, I'll just say something.
Good.
Just, in general, well, first off, we look at individual pieces of property and whether it's appropriate there. And in general, I don't like having the fences in the setback unless it meets the requirements. It's hard for me to say this, but that's just and I know that's what the residents want to hear, but that's kind of where I'm coming from, that I like to stick to the ordinance.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else here?
I don't.
No? You want to put a motion for, oh, Kathy, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, it might help the applicant, I believe, because we don't have a full board.
Yes, I'm sorry, thank you. We only have 3 people today. It takes 2 votes of the 3 to get a variance. You know, if we come back next month and there's 5 people here, you need 3 votes. I don't know if it's different odds, same odds, but I have to offer you the opportunity if you wanted to push it to next month and hope that you get I'm not saying it's going to pass, I'm not going to say it's failed, but you have the option of having more people at the board.
No, I'd just like to get an answer as soon as
Okay.
possible.
All right, I want to put it out there, that's all. All right. And we want to put a
I'll
motion
make a
forward?
motion to deny the variance request.
I'll second it.
Mr. Miller, would you like to state why you're denying?
I don't believe it meets any of the standards set forth in the ordinance.
Thank you. Ready for a roll call, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Motion carries.
You were denied.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next one will be a variance request from Michael Booker Sr. and Lynette Booker from 2026 Blue Spruce. Salim?
Sure. Yes, this property is a double front corner lot per the City of Troy zoning ordinance. It is in the R1C use district. As such, per Chapter 83 of the City of Troy Code, it has a 30 feet required front setback along both John R. and Blue Spruce Drive. The petitioner is requesting a building permit to install 103.5 feet of a 6 feet high vinyl obscuring fence at the rear property line, perpendicular to John R. Out of the 103.5 feet of fence, the petitioner is requesting a variance for 30 feet that encroach into the John R. 30 feet required setback, where the city code limits obscuring fences to 30 inches in height due to the fact that there isn't a back-to-back relationship to the neighboring lot, the rear neighboring lot.
Okay. I have a question for you, Salim, would it be a back-to-back if the house next to them was in part of the subdivision? Because the house next to them now comes right off of John R., correct?
I'm sorry.
The house right next to the house on Blue Spruce?
Yep, the Blue Spruce is subdivision. Yep.
Yeah, it's just, oh, okay. And if that was a house back-to-back relationship, the fence could be permitted then? Or only 4 foot high?
Yeah, if it was back-to-back, it could be 4 feet.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions for Salim?
No.
Is petitioner here? You want to come up? In a minute, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lynette. Well, I was requesting that the fence be a little bit taller because there's a lot of animals that he has. He has like a lot of cars in his yard that's been there for years, hasn't been driven. So, just, just the look of it. And then not only that, coming down John R., the traffic, it's like super loud. So I was hoping that that fence would kind of be a little bit of a barrier for the sound of the cars zooming down John R. because we can't get any sleep. And there's well, if you look at the pictures there, those are some of the cars that are abandoned there. And then there's big holes for the animals that's all back in the yard as well. And, I know you said you can't, the trees is already blocking. So with the neighbors going in and out, the trees are there. So with us putting a fence up, I was hoping, it still won't blocking because the trees are already kind of somewhat blocking, except for in that one little section right there. But I don't know if you have down a little bit further, you can see that the trees are all there.
Okay. Salim, real quickly on your map, the red where she wants to put the fence up, that doesn't need a variance except the last 30 feet, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So she can variance off, she can put a 6-foot fence across
Yes.
the back of her property?
Yep, to the green line.
Okay. To the green line? All right.
I want to follow up with it. And then in that green line, from that green line to the right-of-way, is any fence permitted?
I'm sorry.
Any fence permitted at any height at all?
From that point on, yeah, the 2.5 feet.
2.5 feet, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It could be obscuring, in fact, 2.5.
It can be 2.5 feet obscuring. Okay. And do you have a picture from John R. looking at the property? Do you have a picture from John R. looking at her house?
I have some pictures.
If he don't, I do.
There's several pictures. Here you go. This is from the John R. side, across the street. So the fence will be perpendicular at that point. We say Troy Pines,
Yep.
right about where the post is.
So from the Troy Pines sign coming to the,
Yeah, it would be right
show me with
about,
your cursor if you don't mind.
yep, right at this point.
Okay. Going which way?
I thought it was back just a little bit where the,
This is the front of the house, so
Yeah.
the fence will be in the back side, of course. It's just across the street.
Okay.
Can you go back to that photograph again?
Yeah, across the street, there's no house.
I'm sorry, from looking at the house, I apologize.
Sure.
Right there.
Yeah, because I think isn't the fence even further to the right?
Yeah, I think it'd go like from the
it's going to
telephone
be from
pole.
this first pole back,
Yep,
in
let me
between
get
like the
closer.
first pole and
From
that
See,
transformer.
right here, here's the other house with the cars.
I'm just looking at, am I looking at this wrong? If this isn't that the house, the fence, like all the way?
To there. Yeah, so I thought-
The fence, at least I'm looking at Google Maps for whatever it's worth, is like off the end of this picture.
It goes-
Isn't that your house that I can see right there or no?
No, my house is directly behind the Troy Pine sign.
Got
Right
it.
here.
The fence would be behind, not where his cursor is, that pole, but the other pole, in between the pole and the transformer there.
Alright.
Right,
That's
it
your
would be
property right
there.
Are you going to cover up the Troy Pine sign with your?
No, it's not going to be this, on the side
It's only going
of John R. at all,
east-west.
only behind the
It's all
house.
Oh.
It's literally just that east-west.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that side will be still
I thought she was going
open.
down John R. too.
Right.
Okay, did you understand that, Mark?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I thought we're going,
It's just the back of our house.
it's just that 30, so we're only doing a
Literally
30-foot
30.
variance.
Yeah, it's only 30 feet.
Oh,
At the back of the house, not on
Okay.
the side.
all
So
right,
if you look at this overview, it's right here. That's all she's asking.
okay,
Right, with the red.
all right, that
The
changes, all right. All right, you can have a seat for a quick second. Do you have anything, any public comment?
I don't have here, but I think you.
I do, yes. Ma'am, would you like to come up and state your name and?
Good afternoon. My name is Lonnie Rogers, and I own the property that they're concerned about. I've owned my property since 1988, and I've owned 4520 since 1994. First of all, I will leave it up to the planning department, whatever you decide. I have no opinion, but I need you to know that, to my knowledge, there's not one lot in that subdivision that has a fence, because there is a no fence rule in that sub. Second of all, he created this problem because he cut down my trees that block the view without my permission. He did that about 18 months to 2 years ago. I don't know. I was very upset about it. He didn't seem to think it was a problem, but not once did he ask. Not once have I met the man personally. I did talk to him on the phone after that. This morning I measured the tree trunks that was there, and the tree trunk is 16 inches and 12 inches, and there's another one that I couldn't see. The tenant has lived there 11 years. He hasn't been a problem. Nobody has complained to me or to him about a problem there. I'm basically only concerned about my property sales value. I plan at some point to sell that property, and it'll either go to a builder and they'll put condos and homes there. I've been approached, and at some point I will be selling. How long, I don't know, but I will be. I was not allowed to put a privacy fence up there because they told me I couldn't. It's been a long time ago, like 2004 or something to that effect. I don't know. My husband did that, and I don't remember. I also want to know if that means that everybody else in that subdivision is going to be able to put a privacy fence in. Is the people that build on my property going to be able to put a privacy fence up? Where does this leave my property value? Does it hurt it, kill it?
Okay.
Can I ask a question? I apologize. You said he, who, is this a rental property and you're talking
Yeah,
about
and I live right
your
next
tenant
door.
in the house?
Yeah, we bought half of the farm, and then we bought the other half at some point
Okay.
in '94.
Gotcha.
To answer a couple of quick questions here is, and maybe I'm wrong, Mark, but we don't get involved in neighborhoods that allow fences and don't allow fences. Even
Correct.
if we approve the fence, it's up to the association to police their own,
Correct.
correct?
We can't legislate on
Yeah,
homeowners.
we can't tell who can put up a fence from their bylaws. It would be their association that would do it.
What? I don't care one way or the other.
Right. No, I'm just saying, we're only looking at 30 feet of it. They can put up the other 100 feet, I think it is, or 70 feet, wouldn't have to come to our board. But they'd have to worry about their homeowners association.
A better way to say is we do not enforce deed restrictions.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And
And the other thing is, if they cut trees down your property, I would make a police report on that.
I was
That-
going to, but you know what? It's a neighbor, and you
I-
don't want to get into a feud with a neighbor.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying, we can't enforce.
Well, I didn't want to
Okay.
do that. I just thought that it wasn't proper, it wasn't right, and he seemed to think it was perfectly fine.
Okay. All right.
she had one other question.
Go ahead.
I think, Salim, you can confirm or deny, but you asked the question about the other neighbors. So the rest of those, 2042, 2058, those would be their backyards, and they would be allowed the
Would be
6-foot
allowed.
privacy fence without.
By right.
Without, yeah, by right. So, and even 2026 is up into that 30-foot setback. So from there east, they could or could not, as
Even though the association says no?
far as this board is
As
concerned.
far as this board is, we don't know what the deed restriction would be what the association
I see.
takes
Okay.
care of. We couldn't stop that.
It could change, could have changed in all the years since they built. I have no clue.
It's actually really hard to change deed restrictions.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
It takes a lot of effort and agreement with.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned about the value of my property. What's it going to do?
Okay. Okay, anything else for us? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did you have any other questions for the?
I do not.
I don't have questions.
Okay. I didn't know if you had anything for. All right. I,
Looking for commentary.
I am. I mean, you got any comments? I'm just like,
I would say, I also felt when I got this address and was driving to it, I assumed that there was going to be a request to go all along John R. We often will grant along the mile roads just because of the amount of traffic that was mentioned. When I pulled into this subdivision and kind of parked and was looking at it and then realized it was just the back fence line, I actually thought it was significantly reserved of a request compared to other things we've gotten, and I understand the intent or the desire here, so I don't have much concern with this, especially how treed that is, and the visual character there does not seem to be impeded.
I agree with you on one side, but on the other side, I'm like, she ever sells her property to the developer or whoever, and they're gonna build, and the new people are gonna move into that spot, could be obstructed to seeing what's coming down the sidewalk. You know, we're looking at
If
it
they move
today.
the driveway closer to the sidewalk or something?
Well, they build a new house there, and the driveway comes up that side, they're gonna be obstructing the sidewalk. And you'll have to look at, not today, but 10 years from now, of what's gonna be there. And it seems like it's pretty covered right now. That last 30 feet, it's not like you're looking at cars or anything like that. You're just looking at a driveway, and there seems to be a lot of trees right there. If you need to plant a few more trees, I would just say, do that. Put the fence from 30 feet back and go, but, you know. But when I first looked at it, I thought the same thing, and then I started thinking about what happens 30 years from now, or 10 years from now, when there's a fence there and something else goes in that spot. And then once we're out the sidewalk, let's say they don't come ask for, you know, along John R. north and south, because they're already out to the sidewalk. Maybe not these custom-made, next homeowners.
So I have a question then, I guess. When we've done this along, usually Big Beaver is probably the most common one, but along some of the mile roads, are we, trying to recall back, are we normally
We usually have
at the property line, or are we like 5 feet off that, or?
We're usually backyard to backyard. So if there was another house that was facing north, and it was backyard to backyard, we'd have no problem putting a fence along there.
Yeah, but
because
along the mile road side?
yes. Yeah. But since we have backyard to side yard, it could, you know, we can't dictate what happens at 40/20 someday. If they're, you know, someone builds a house with a side entrance driveway, and they want to be 3 feet off the lot line, you can have a fence 3 feet off their driveway. Because as we said, we don't know what's going to happen. It could be 2 new homes built there, and then something coming off the other way. But I'm only one person, just my opinion.
So I'll just throw my opinion out there that I pretty much like to stick with the ordinance, and what the requirements are, and I just don't feel that there's enough reasons to grant a variance in this case.
Okay.
What about if I even 10 feet, you know, to where, because 30 is,
Could you come back up to the mic, ma'am?
sorry,
And, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
30 feet is like really kind of like right in the middle of my backyard. What about if if you allowed me to do it where it's 10 feet from the sidewalk, opposed to 30?
As Mark said, though, our ordinances are, you know, our ordinances, our reasons are there for 30 feet, you know? Because you understand what I'm saying? We don't know what the next neighbor is going to move into that lot's going to have. I
Right.
mean, you're in the back corner of your property, you can, trees, I mean, you have trees along John R., correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, all you're going to do is turn trees for another 30 feet and be good, then you can start your fence from there to hide everything on there.
Can you remind her that we're missing 2 members, and if she would
Yes.
like to postpone, we can? Because we don't know what the opinion of the other 2 members would be.
You're only getting the opinion of the 3 of us,
Right.
and if there's a full board here, you could have 2 more members that have the same opinion, different of what
Okay.
one of us. If you want to postpone it, you can. If you don't, we can go through with it today.
Okay.
So you have to tell us which way you want to go.
Okay.
So you have to tell us what you want to do.
Oh, I'm sorry, if I want to.
If you want either,
I mean,
You
if,
only lose time if you wait.
Yeah. If you wait till next month, you know, and find out then, or you can find out now.
I mean, I don't want it to be not approved.
Well, we can't help you and tell you which way you should go, but the option's there for you. If you get a no vote today, it's done with.
Okay.
If you postpone it?
I will postpone.
You'd like to postpone till there's a full board here?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion we postpone to the next meeting.
I will second it. Kathy, take the vote, please.
Mr. Freisen,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Abathera.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We'll see you next month.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That happened. At the bottom, yeah.
That's not even rotted. That's not even rotted either. Wow. And thank you for coming, ma'am. We'll probably see you, I'm talking to the. Is it over? Yes, it's over for you. We have your comments for next month. I gotta go back. All right, let's, that was the last one. Communications, is there any communications today? Seeing none? Any public comment? Seeing none? Any miscellaneous business? Seeing none? We're adjourned.